What's up, addicts? Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Really low-key video for you here, just kind of like a fireside chat. Let's talk about things that are going on around the channel and what I've been focused mostly on in the past couple days, personally for fantasy and over the website. So as I keep mentioning, we are going to be dropping player breakdown videos for the draft pretty soon. So keep an eye out for those. We'll be posting some updates about what is happening on our website as well. Should be dropping some point this week. So keep your ear to the ground for that. It's going to be really fun, at least getting some sports content while we're all here sequestered at home. But also we'll do some pre-draft player breakdowns and then some post-draft with additional analysis based on draft capital, what team they went to, what kind of scheme fit these players are going to be in, getting you guys ready for your dynasty leagues if you're in a rookie draft, if you're doing a dynasty startup, or if you're just curious how these rookies are going to play into redraft, giving you guys the analysis as we usually do in quick, concise format, giving you guys the meat of the information as quickly as possible. Although right now, a lot of people have a little bit more time on their hands, so might dig into these a little bit deeper. So keep an eye out for that. But wanted to just kind of talk about dynasty leagues in general right now. And obviously one thing that I've been doing to bide time through all this is I've been, and pretty much my entire league has been making massive trades, and it's been a ton of fun just shifting things around. So some of the guys that I think would be really good trade targets right now, obviously you want to go after players that either have a lower perceived value or obviously sell people that have a higher perceived value. That's different in Dynasty in terms of longevity of value versus just this upcoming season. And of course, you want to try to always maintain the balance of trying to draft for the future while also trying to compete now, because there's the fallacy of always trying to make a dynasty team that is so future based that you forget you still need to win. And then there's also the issue of trying to win so hard in one season that if you don't do it and you sacrifice your team for years, then you're just in a pit for a while and you didn't get anything out of it. So you really always need to try to find that balance. And a lot of that comes from the method in which you target certain players in certain positions. So wide receivers, tight ends are guys that I typically like to steer away from the younger crowd, go more towards the guys entering their prime. But if you have someone that is turning into a superstar, then obviously once you see it, yes, they're going to be a little bit more expensive, but typically in terms of draft capital, running backs always seem to hold their value a little bit more in Dynasty, and of course it depends on your league settings, your league mates. So what you're typically trying to do is get rookie running backs. Get them on their rookie contract, because most rookie running backs don't perform once they get their first contract. Whereas wide receivers, with the exception of 2014 and guys like AJ Brown last year, most of the time wide receivers take a few years before they actually perform. So draft a rookie running back, you can see like guys like David Montgomery still have decent value. And guys like N'Keal Harry, who went really early in rookie drafts last year, basically have no value right now. Although there are probably some people that will fight you to trade them for nothing because they paid so much for them. So you got your sunk cost fallacy. But two running backs that I would definitely try to trade away right now. And I know it seems kind of blasphemous saying this, but Aaron Jones is one guy that I'm just nervous about. And a lot of that has to do with the touchdown regression. We know last year he had an unsustainable touchdown rate, multiple games of, like he even had a 1-4 touchdown game, multiple double touchdown games. Aaron Rodgers threw the least amount of red zone touchdowns that we've seen in a very long time. And now Aaron Rodgers definitely isn't as, how do I put this? He's not old Aaron Rodgers. He's not the Aaron Rodgers that we're used to. So while I'm not trying to say that they're not going to run the ball at all in the red zone and Aaron Rodgers is going to go back to throwing close to 40 touchdowns each year, there will be some regression. Last year was a very odd year for the Packers offense, and I would not expect Aaron Jones to get anywhere near the same touchdown count that he had. I mean, It was insane the amount of touchdowns he was scoring. It was great for fantasy. If you had him this year, it was amazing. And I think that you can sell someone on that because like he looked great. But my main contention there is the touchdown count will come down. This is the last year on his rookie contract, so they could extend him. But rookie running backs typically don't keep performing at near the same level for fantasy once they get their first deal, and if they do, it's normally only for a year. So at most, I'd say you probably have about 2 years left of good Aaron Jones before he starts to decline a little bit, and that could be said about most running backs around his age. But the other thing that just is still concerning, even after all this time we've seen through 2 coaching schemes, the Green Bay Packers do not want to commit to Aaron Jones as their lead running back, which to me is clearly better than Jamal Williams. Not that Jamal Williams is bad by any means, but until Jamal Williams got hurt last year, and even when he did get hurt for some time, you could just tell their hesitance to give Aaron Jones the full workload. Towards the end of the season, he definitely started seeing more of that split, but he was not nearly as efficient after that game against the Vikings. He did okay in the game against the Lions, but that was definitely Aaron Rodgers winning it in the end in their defense. So it's rough. Like, you're not going to sell him at all costs, but if you can move off of him and move on to another running back that has more security and doesn't have another running back that's eating towards his touches, sell him as an elite, I think you should do it. The other guy that I am terrified of owning past this season is Derrick Henry. Yes, he is a monster and should continue to perform from a fantasy perspective, but right now his value is at an all-time high. It's hard to imagine a world where post-2020 season, if there even is a 2020 season, that post-2020 season Derrick Henry is any more valuable than he is right now. So if you can sell him at his top value, even if he has another good year, what you might be able to get for him right now, like if you could trade Derrick Henry for a Joe Mixon who's like 4 years younger and is about to play on a team with Joe Burrow, I'd do it. And of course, you have to convince your league mates to buy into this, but we saw 1 year of Tannehill look good. He got paid a massive contract. We'll see how this team ends up turning around. They lost, what was his name? Sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the lineman that left. Goodness, can't remember. Well, anyway, they lost a lineman. Gosh, I can't believe I can't remember. Sorry. But their offensive line is already looking to be a little bit weaker, which I think is a big deal because we saw the same thing happen with Todd Gurley the year before. And like, his offensive line was crap last year compared to the year that they made the Super Bowl. They had one of the better run blocking offensive lines, and once they lost Roger Saffold, they sucked. And so did Todd Gurley. So a running back is very dependent on their offensive line playing well. It's very hard for a running back to overcome a poor offensive line. So if the Titans' offensive line is any worse this year than it was Conklin. Thank you. Sorry. So they lost Conklin, and with that, you can expect the yards per carry for Derrick Henry to go down. Now, he's still a monster, and he'll still have runs where just nobody can stop him. But if he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage more, or he's not getting nearly as many yards before first touch, that's going to eat into his yards per carry. And the amount of physical contact that this guy takes on a game by game basis, eventually is going to wear him down. So right now, Derrick Henry's value is at the highest it can be. Even if he has another good season, you can probably sell him for much higher than you should be able to, and I would do it. I've already mentioned Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is my favorite target right now in Dynasty leagues. With Joe Burrow most likely coming into town, has tremendous value going forward. He looked great for the second half of the season last year, and the Bengals were absolutely terrible, but they're only going to go up with getting Joe Burrow in this draft, but they'll most likely try to rely on that run game to get Joe Burrow comfortable in the system. So Joe Mixon is one of my favorite buys right now. And then a random name that is a bit older, but like I said, I kind of like older wide receivers that should still have a couple years left. We just saw Stephon Diggs get dumped to the Bills. I think Adam Thielen is an amazing buy right now. I still probably be able to get him for pretty cheap, but he could very, very easily be a wide receiver 1 for the 2020 season and possibly still have 2 or 3 elite years left, or at least pretty solid production that you'd probably be able to get for pretty cheap. So I typically try to take a more proven approach rather than relying too much on unknowns. I like to go after wide receivers and tight ends that I know are going to be able to get things done. Now, obviously, don't overpay for them either, but just some names throughout there. So, do you guys like these kinds of videos? If you have questions, have trade offers, hit me up in the comment section below and give you some insight and thought on it. Not a lot to do right now with us all staying at home, so let me know if you have any questions, and like I said, keep an eye out for those player breakdown videos. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me in this lovely Dynasty chat, and we will see you in the next video.